Shalom, I'm Nama Rue. This is Rabbi David Rue. We're talking about...
Last time we talked about okumei Eilana, or a fruye פירא, or a fruye Eilana, whether we're allowing the tree to continue to exist or whether we're improving the fruit.
Because it's Shmita, we let the land rest and we don't prune, we don't help plants grow. We let the Creator, Hashem, take care of the land, which is ownerless. It belongs to Hashem.
Yes. Now, what if the tree will be fine, but it won't produce any fruit this year? In such a case, am I allowed to take care of the tree, give it water, who knows what, for the fruit of the Shmita year? The Rambam says, in Hillchos Shmita Viyovel, in the first parak, halacha, I'm reading parts of Zayin, Ches, and Tes, and all of halacha Yud. Sorkin es ha'ilem besakra. I'm allowed to put this red stuff on the tree. It's somewhat sticky, apparently, and bugs can't invade the tree when this stuff is on it. Mashkin beis השלחין בשביעית והיא שדה הזריעה שצמאה ביותר. I'm allowed to water a field, a grain field, on Shmita, and that's when it's very dry. Vocin ugos legefnim. I'm allowed to dig little donut-shaped things into the dirt around a grapevine so that the water will stay them. I'm allowed to dig the irrigation ditch, ketxala, and I'm allowed to dig it for the first time. וממלאין in the מים, and I'm allowed to fill up the cracks in the dirt with water, and so on. And then in halacha Yud, the Rambam asks, ומפני מה התירו כל אלה? Why did the Chachamim allow us to do all these things? שאם לא ישקה תעשה הארץ מלחה ויעמוס כל עץ שבה. Because if not, the land will become salty and all the trees in it will die. And all of these things, they're not the four things mentioned in the Torah, are rabbinic in nature. Lo gazru al elu. They did not decree on these things. Shein iser min Torah el osam shnei avos ushtei toldos shelahem k'mo shebernu. Because there are only two avos malachas and two derivative malachas that are prohibited during the Shmita year, as we've talked about this many times, the Rambam says. Now, the Rav Kook, in his Perush, the main part of Shabbos Arts, is a commentary on the Rambam. So he writes on this piece, Lakus etzakotzim min ha'Ilan, hamezikin es ha'peros, to cut off thorns that are damaging the tree, the fruit. Say osur l'kol. This is prohibited according to all opinions. She'afilu la'omrim shemutter la'aves avoda shehi l'okumei Eilana. Even according to those things that I'm allowed to do so that the tree will live, afilu begufa Eilan, even though I'm working in the tree itself, zay davka la hamid es Eilan shye roy la'avodaso la'achar Shmita. This is only so that I can keep the tree, so I can work it after the Shmita. The tree belongs to me. I'm allowed to keep it in existence, so I will still have this tree after the Shmita is over. 1 second, please. Aval avoda shehi letzorech haperos, but doing something that's for the fruit, hifkia Torah, she hifkiras haperos, shvis, lekol. The fruit on the tree belongs to everyone. It doesn't belong to me. It doesn't belong to anyone. V'salek yad habalim mehem. The owners have to remove their hands from it. V'kashilu hem ne'avadim. Even if they're going to be completely lost, aser lasos avoda b'shvilam. I'm not allowed to do any work for these fruits. Yes?
Even if we're going to eat the fruits?
Yeah, because it's not my fruit. I'm allowed to... What Rav Kook is saying is... And how Rav Kook is explaining the Rambam is the tree I own, right? And I don't have to suffer a loss in Shmita. So I'm allowed to take care of my tree so it will exist after the Shmita. If it would die during Shmita, okay, I can do things that won't die during Shmita. The fruit I don't own. I'm not, one of the things that we've learned many times, I'm not allowed to show any ownership over the fruit, right? To preserve the fruit would be showing ownership over the fruit, and that's something that I couldn't do.
Okay.
Now, Rav Chaim Knievsky wrote a commentary on the Rambam, Derech Emunah in Hilchos Shmita, again in the same place, where he follows the opinion of the Chazon Ish, and he writes, Shim lo yeshke tעשה הארץ מלחה, v'yamos kol ha'et sheba. It quotes the Rambam, if we don't water the field, it will become salty and all the trees will die. Eina kavana v'yitba'esh ha'etz. It's not that the tree will dry out, v'lo yaseh pri le'olam, and never make fruit again. V'ken ha'aretz kalkel le'olam, and the land will be damaged forever. Ela yamos b'shana zu v'lo yavshil perosav, that it will dry out in this year and won't make its fruit. In this year, in the Shmita year. Umishum kach tעשה הארץ מלחה, he tam al משקין השלחין. That's for watering anything. Mashiksu v'yamos kol ha'etz sheba. That's a different thing. Meaning, the Rambam says two things. The Steipler is saying. He's saying that in one case we're talking about the field becoming salty and useless. In the other case, we're talking about the tree drying up the fruit on it, and that's talking about the fruit of this year. Tam al mashkim sadeh ilan, aval ein kan hefsed haaretz l'shana haba. So I'm allowed to, he says, water the orchard, even though there would be no loss in the next year if I didn't do it now. Rak hefsed peros, I would only lose the fruit of shnas Shmita, of the Shmita year. Mishum Tehitira, because of this they allow it. Now, there's a problem with this. Meaning, why should I care about the fruit? It's not my fruit. How do you deal with Rav Kook's challenge to this? So Rav Shlomo Arach Bach in Madinei Haaretz addresses this issue. He says, Af al shebechol makom tesharinan isura mishum peseda mistaber dinei dehefker lo sharinan. Normally, we allow many things because of hefker, but because of loss. But if something is ownerless, we don't do this. Afilu hachi gabi shvis. Nonetheless, concerning the Shmita year, shapir dami sharinan avodas karka. Nonetheless, in Shmita we can allow work of the land, mishum beseder de pire, because of the loss of the fruit. Afagav dafkeraninu, even though they are ownerless fruits, hainu b'shum deshane shvish, but shvis is different than all other types of ownerless property. Dekevan dekasav krav ve'achlo evyonei amcha, because the pasuk says that the poor will eat it with you. Chashi b'hu perus keshutvu shel klal Yisrael. So it's not that they're ownerless fruit; it's they're the fruit of all of Klal Yisrael. Anyone in Klal Yisrael can come and take these fruit. Therefore, they are own fruits, and therefore we can be concerned about the loss. Now,
that applies to watering,
right?
Not to removing thorns.
Well, it might even reply to removing thorns. I mean, now it seems that fruit that is miuad is destined to be taken out for all of Klal Yisrael. For instance, if we have a field that belongs to that is being used by Otzer Beis Din, by the Beis Din, to bring into the city and give to everyone, the argument of Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach makes sense. If I'm talking about the tree in my backyard, it doesn't make sense because it's not going to, in fact, be used by very many people. Me and I might be, most people, even though halachically there's no reason to, are hesitant to go harvest in other people's yards, even when they're invited to. So therefore, it seems like you're basically doing it for yourself, and that would, the argument of Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, that wouldn't seem to make much sense. The minhag in Eretz Yisrael is that that which is being produced for the general tzibur, the people are lenient, like the Chazon Ish, but for individuals in general, people are not lenient, people are machmir, like Rav Kook. Of course, someone that is always conducts themselves according to the psak of Rav Kook should keep that, and someone that always conducts himself according to the opinion of the Chazon Ish, for instance, in Bnei Brak, certainly could rely on the Chazon Ish in this. Next time we will start dealing with all sorts of different rabbinic prohibitions on Shmita and how to deal with them in our time, and that will run us through many, many discussions.